It often happens that a child is afraid or shy to share something with their mom, and sometimes this can lead to not very good consequences. Let's look at my case today. Here, there's a girl about 11 or 12 years old. Unfortunately, I can't give you the exact details right now. This happened before New Year's. So in general, her mom brought her in and said that there was something wrong with her nails, some kind of problem. I took the girl to the chair, had her sit down, of course, started asking her questions, worked carefully, explained exactly what I was doing with her, and found out that the corner of her nail was hurting. I said, "Let's take a look." She removed her sock and we looked. She hadn't trimmed her nails in a long time. She was afraid to cut them because she realized something was wrong. And here on the inside, you could already see that the side fold was red. That's when she said, you see, she moved her toe and she said, "I can already feel it here, it's starting to hurt here." We looked, and the corner was really digging into the skin. What should be done in this situation? Really? It's very simple, you just need to trim that corner correctly. I take nippers and straight cutters from nip-on nippers and carefully remove that troublesome little corner. We use tweezers to take it out. By the way, I let her take a closer, more careful look at it, and I explained everything to her in detail. By the way, it's very important, especially when working with children, and as a side note, this usually happens more often with men. You need to explain everything in detail, exactly what you're doing and why. And most importantly, of course, make it clear that you don't intend to harm the person in any way, because that's definitely not part of your plans. So we took care of the corner. While I was talking to her, she said that her feet sweat and that she feels uncomfortable because of it. I asked, "Why don't you trim your nails?" She said she's afraid, and she's also afraid to let her mom trim them in case it hurts. Well, these are just normal childhood fears, and it doesn't mean the mom is bad. That actually happens with many children. I remember feeling the same as a child. Here, I'm showing it, and I recorded this video specifically for the girl. I say, look at what happened here. When we cut off the little corner, there was a hole left right there. That's exactly the spot in Rastania. So that's the corner. The nail constantly rubs against the skin every day when a person walks, especially if their feet sweat, all of this inside shoes, all day at school. And of course, that's the result you'll get. They're great for coming at this stage instead of waiting until things got worse. So we've removed the corner. I explained everything I could and had time to explain to her, of course. Here we're placing a special little tampon, which will serve as a tamponade and also help deal with the small wound that's there. And next, of course, we'll have a debrief about the socks. While I'm finishing up with the tamponade, I want to say, don't rush to write anything about mom in the comments. Kids really do experience this sometimes. They feel embarrassed or afraid to say something, maybe because of some misunderstanding or lack of knowledge. It's not good or bad, it just happens. And remember what you were like as a child. So we've dealt with this little finger. And now I'm showing the second foot, of course. Since it's already on the chair, I say, let me at least trim your nails so you don't have to struggle with it yourself later. And what I noticed, I really want you to pay attention to this. Yes, especially the third and fourth toes have what's commonly called spoon-shaped nails. But the medical term for this is koilonychia. It's a bit hard to pronounce, but that's what it is in short. I'll explain it simply now. The nails are concave like this, and there's even a test for this condition. If you put a drop of water on the nail, the drop will stay there, like in a little spoon. This condition itself is considered more of a cosmetic defect and not really a disease, but it can be, and most often is, a symptom of something more serious. So you shouldn't ignore these kinds of things. It's important to understand why this condition appeared, and of course you should see a doctor and get treatment. By the way, science doesn't really know the exact causes of the development of koilonychia, but there are some factors that increase the risk of this kind of deformation. These include nutritional disorders, genetic and autoimmune diseases, as well as the influence of external factors. Well, in general, as always, it's all rather vague. This is just for your information, just so you know in case you ever notice something like this in yourself. Well, now I'm moving on to the main thing, the sock. And here too, I ask you to be mindful about its cleanliness. Kids also have this habit where they get attached to one particular thing and keep wearing it. Well, from the video, I think there's really nothing to explain. The sock was too small, it was too tight, the feet were sweating, and as a result, well, what happened happened. By the way, to prevent her feet from sweating, I suggested she use only Potostop and apply it every day. And on top of that, regular, clean, good socks. Of course, I explained the importance of foot hygiene, and as always, by tradition, I gave her a clean sock as a gift and sent her on her way. Oh, and yes, I talked to her mom too, of course, explained everything. And honestly, there was nothing serious. Everything is fine, it all worked out.